Here we go. Everyone's favorite exercise. We got Power Rankings 2.0.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them.
What a week. What a week one we just had in the European League of Football. It was definitely a week one. There was some sloppy play. But needless to say, it's exciting that this game is back. Athletes Forum Podcast, Jamal Clay here. This episode, we're going to do our Power Rankings 2.0. And then don't forget, on Thursday's episode, we break down week two picks and previews, and we got a couple. We have a really, really good slate for week two. The league did a good job of scheduling. It's almost like they knew what was coming with these teams when they were building to give us these games that we got coming on. So, again, Thursday we'll have picks and previews, but today, not only are we going to slowly but surely give a quick recap of this past week, but we're going to dive into some power rankings. But first, off the top of my head, what did we learn from last week? We learned business is business when it comes to the Fire's defense. That is a veteran defense. They've been together for 3 years. They performed well. On the same note, even in the loss, though, Paris showed that maybe they're not too far behind, right? Maybe they're not too far behind. I think that second half they found their identity, and you could check out my my recap, my instant reaction to that game. Some other games we wanted to talk about. Enthroners. I feel like, they need more help from their experienced players up front. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'll dive into those games along the way. Let's just get right into the power rankings, all right? So, you know how this works. We start from 16, we work our way up. I'm going to give my quick thoughts on these teams and their performance, all right? Here we go. Coming in at 16, no surprise here, Cologne Centurions. This is a much-needed bye week they got coming up in week two. All right, to be frank, they just didn't look good, all right? And we'll see how they look. They got their American quarterback, Keegan, who they signed last week. But there's a lot that needs to be fixed, with the Cologne Centurions. Berlin definitely put a whooping on them. We'll see how they look coming in the next coming weeks. Again, much-needed bye week coming up for the Centurions. All right, 15. I was talking about this before I decided to make a shift and go right into the power rankings, but the Enthroners. I think the Enthroners – they competed, but I think they need more help from their experienced players, right? They invested a lot in that front seven on defense that essentially really got ran on by DJ Irons and David Brzozowski. Offensively, again, up front, the issues are still a little bit there. But I thought we saw some good things from Brock Doman. I thought we saw some good things from Rashad Steele. So we'll see how it pans out. Unfortunately, they got to go up against Vienna coming up in week two. So I just want to see an improvement. All right, I just want to see an improvement. So Enthroners coming at 15. 14, Helvetic. Even in the loss, they show that they can compete. All right. At least in the first half, they show that they can compete. There's a lot that has to clean up. Again, I think the one thing when you talk about Helvetic and the coaching staff is the intel I'm getting is that these guys know how to coach, put their guys in position, and we saw a team play very hard in that first, at least in that first couple of drives. Right, it's a team. They bend but didn't broke on defense. They held the Nordic Storm to a field goal, which ended up being a missed field goal. Unfortunately, they didn't capitalize on that. And then Nordic found their way, and the ball kept rolling. So, Helvetic, tough schedule. Raiders coming up. We'll see how it pans out. They're gonna sneak a win in or two throughout the season. If they keep playing this way and keep getting better. But it wasn't as bad as the potential is what it could have been, at least from what I was told, from what I was seeing. So, bright spot for Helvetic. All right, coming at 14. 13, Prague. They dropped one spot, but honestly, Prague showed that, what everyone thought about the Prague team is valid. They're different. They're competitive. They were out Jalen Embry. Ken Hike is a straight-up dog, right? It was a one-point game going into halftime versus the Vienna Vikings. Prague's going to make things interesting, and they're going to get a couple wins this season, right? They're going to get a couple wins this season. So, Prague, that was very encouraging to see that it wasn't just talk, right? They're actually a better team and a team that are going to sneak in some wins throughout the season. Playing in the East, too. We'll see how it pans out. Coming in at 12, Berlin. Again, great performance from Jacob Selvin. I think he gave you 47 points on fantasy alone, but it was against the Cologne Centurions, right? We'll see how Berlin continues to develop, but that was encouraging. Good teams do what they're supposed to do. Berlin did what it was supposed to do. They beat Cologne, rightfully so. They moved up 2 spots. All right. Coming in at 11, the Raiders. The offense failed the Raiders this weekend. They didn't run the ball nearly as much, nearly as effective. Again, I think Nick Alfieri said it on the ELF Live. When Connor Miller is your leading rusher, there's issues there, right? You got a three-headed monster, a running back. Use those guys. Get your Corey Sullivan more involved, right? He's not a burner, but he should have the same production as Malik Stanley should have. But again, it was good to see Marco Snyder get involved, Philip Pond get involved. But the thing with the Raiders is that their offense failed them, and they know that. They know that. I'm not breaking any news here. 4 botched snaps. All right, 1 crucial one at the end of the game. Raiders lost that game, but again, we'll see how their offense develops and if they can bounce back this weekend. So the Raiders come in at 11. 10, the Warsaw Panthers. Good teams do what they're supposed to do. All right, still early, but we'll see. All right, this was an encouraging sign, right? DJ Irons gets 5 touchdowns. That running game looks good. That defense looks good. Carlos Bronze looked basically unguardable in this game. He was given that right tackle. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but he was given issues this whole game. Devin Burrell proved he's more than just a returner. He had a very, 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 very good defensive game, right? So the Panthers, they look good. Again, because of the opponent, they only bumped up 1 spot for me. Coming in at number 9, Hamburg Sea Devils, a team that a lot of people weren't high on, but Hamburg proved that they're going to be a problem this year. They're going to be a problem for a lot of teams. They play really, really good defense. Similar to most, offense has to come along, but offense usually takes longer than defense does when heading into a season. They proved that they have a quarterback, right? They may have their next Ben Holmes, and I'm not talking about 43 touchdown potential of Ben Holmes. I'm talking about a guy that can help this team compete in this league. Obviously, they've had quarterback issues since year 1 in the European League of Football. They might have found their guy, Mike Leon, former Gator. Go Gators. Hamburg comes in at number 9. Number 8, the Munich Ravens. Munich Ravens potentially might be the best team in that division. When you think about the Raiders, who they just beat, when you think about Madrid, who didn't look great, when you think about Helvetic, Munich looked good, different offense, and I like the aggressiveness Coach Callahan called that game. A lot of vertical shots downfield. He is not playing this year. He's taking his chances because remember, his offense is more of a developed rhythm, or it showed to be a little dink and dunk, medium in routes. But Russell Tabor was taking shots. Malik Stanley was the go-to guy. They're going to be a team that is going to try to put up a lot of points. I like that mindset. Defense also play well. Shout out to Nitzlander. Shout out to Zinger Bowl. I thought those guys did well this week. Coming in at number 7, Paris. They stood still. Another test for Paris this weekend versus Surge. You need to, granted, you play the Fire, the Surge, Frankfurt, and Vienna. Minimum, you got to split those games. Maybe sweep one of those series, but minimum you got to split. You get the Surge coming in to your house week 2. You found your identity in that second half. Maybe pull off a big win this week versus Stuttgart. We'll see as we break down film, but Paris comes in at number 7. Number 6, Frankfurt. Frankfurt, I felt like left some meat on the bone, right? I want to see their offense develop a little bit outside of just like crosser routes most of the time. Sandro Platzkummer, is he back? Is this the old Raiders Sandro before going to New York Giants Sandro? He came back to the ELF, got hurt, wasn't right first year at Frankfurt. Sandro might be back, and that could be problems, all right? That could be problems for teams that, once he starts getting his legs on him. So Frankfurt, we'll see how this pans out. The run defense definitely has to improve. Tommy Wayu, Kai Hunter definitely did a number on them, but they come in at number 6 for me. All right, and then coming in at number 5, we're gonna wrap out the top 5. Madrid didn't look great. They pulled off a tough win. Got to bump them up. I want to see what the team looks like when they get Section Dragon back. I think they need another guy to complement JFC, Juan Flores Calderon, and Aaron Krushenk. Good matchup this weekend. We'll see how it pans out. But again, Madrid comes in at number 5. I wasn't overly impressed, but also I thought Hamburg had potential to upset them this game. And I love me some Andrew, but I'm just thinking how the roster is built and the styles make fights. I don't think Hamburg was necessarily a good matchup, but they found a way to pull it through, and that's what good teams do. So in Madrid. And then top four, nothing changed much. Nordic comes at number 4. Huge loss, unfortunately, with Glenn's injury. We'll see how they bounce back. I thought they found their rhythm. That defense looks fast, physical. That Nordic defense is good. I like that. And they're only going to keep getting better. I like the guys that they got. A true 3-4 defense, but speed all around. All right, Nordic comes in at number 4. Not much has changed. Surge coming at 3. They probably had the best performance out of all these teams. They probably looked the most polished, the most seasoned. They didn't even play their starters the full game. But I'm not going to go too crazy with the top 3 because they're all still good teams. Again, Vienna beats Prague. Rhine beats Paris. Surge probably had the best win, but I just kept them at 3, in my opinion. Number 2, Vienna, kept them the same. Again, maybe they weren't too excited to play Prague, but again, it was only a 1-score game going into halftime. We'll see what this Vienna team continues to look like. Even though they got the Enthroners this week, I think this is a team when they start playing some of those top-tier teams, it's going to look a little bit more better. And maybe the team we thought they would look like. And then coming in at number 1, again, I said it, business is business when it comes to Rhine Fire. They've showed that, again, a tough win versus Paris. They're still a good team. That defense is still stout. That offense has to develop, though, in regards to play production. They need more production from the running back, in my opinion. They need more I want to see that offensive – I want to see that pass game develop more. Again, we'll see what happens. Fire did what they were supposed to do. Chad Jeffries proved, in my opinion, not a big drop-off from Jadrian, but the key missing element was Glenn, and we saw that from the running back position, as we didn't get enough production, at least in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how everything pans out the next time they play. So, again, everyone's favorite thing to do, Power Rankings 2.0. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Tune in on Thursday as we make our Week 2 preview and picks. Might have some more shows dropping along the way, but we'll see. Athletes Forum Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in.